Antonio, and we are having a very special guest for you today. But before we get into his story, I just want to remind you of 10 things to expect when building your business. Number one, there will be ups and downs. Number two, success or failure is up to you. If you succeed, it's because of you. If you fail, it's because of you, not because of your upline or the person who introduced you. Number three, the goal is for you to become independent and run your own business and be your leader, be the leader of your team. Number four, make your plan on the weekends. Do it, review it, and make adjustments. We do that every weekend. We plan, do, review, and adjust. Number five, it's going to take time. It's going to take 1 year to become competent. It's going to take 3 years to create a significant part-time income. It's going to take 5 years to become a significant earner and 7 years to become world-class. It's going to take time. Number six, it takes consistent work and hustle. Number seven, you're going to have to grow and get outside of your comfort zone. Number eight, mental toughness is necessary. Number nine, the grass is not greener in other companies. I've seen people leave USANA and never make what they made with their USANA business. And number 10, this is a long-term game. USANA is 25 years strong with over $2.5 billion paid to its associates. It's provided me and my wife a full-time income for over a decade and thousands of people just like us. And the best thing about it is it's stable. USANA is a consumable product. They're a great corporate staff that's stood the test of time. And that's something you don't find with a lot of these companies that come and go. So that's why we love USANA. It's been such a huge blessing in our life. And the last reminder is that always remember that amateurs sell products, but professionals sell the vision. Make sure you share everything USANA can do for your clients, not just the products. Share videos like this with your clients. Tag them on this video. Share the links. Do whatever it takes to show people the vision of USANA, and you're going to help a lot more people have a lot more fun and also make a lot more money. And few have done it as well as Mr. Irving McKnight out of San Francisco, California. He's a gold director, and we are very blessed to have him. I actually met him originally at International Convention, and I want to give a plug for convention because that is where you meet all the best people in the company. And Irving and I went through a Golden Above workshop all on coaching and designing your vision, and we were actually I guess we were like small group partners that day. And since then, me and Irving have been very close, and it's just been great to watch him grow in the company. I want to go ahead and bring you on the webcam, Irving. I'm going to stop my share screen and bring you on the webcam. Welcome to the show, Irving.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's so exciting to be able to be on here and talk to you guys.
Awesome, my man. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for being a great example to the USANA family. Thank you for being having a huge heart, for taking action, for being consistent. I know you've been with USANA now into your 8th year. That shows a lot of consistency. And we want to know your story. We want to know today, what your life was like before USANA. What were some of the challenges? And then how did you overcome those challenges? And what is your life like today thanks to your USANA business and also your health thanks to the USANA products? So we want to kind of know your story.
Okay.
You have about 15, 20 minutes right there to kind of just take us from kind of beginning to now.
Okay.
And then we're going to open it up after that for some questions, some Q&A and everything. So
sounds great.
Sounds great.
Awesome. So, hello, everyone. My name is Irving McKnight. So I guess where I would start is I'm from Oakland, California. And Oakland, California is known to be kind of like a rough place, a very tough city. And it was just like that for me growing up. I feel like I personally had the typical upbringing of a kid from Oakland, California. People actually went through the same thing, especially people on my team that went through the same thing that I did. But my parents struggled with drug addictions. I had a younger brother. I still have a younger brother. I have a younger brother. And at that time of my life, I really felt like I had to take care of my brother. I was a young kid, but life was really real to me even as a young kid. So with all those things happening and living in a pretty rough neighborhood with a lot of violence and crime around me, you had to make decisions early on in life. And luckily, I was blessed that I had good people around me. I had my grandmother. Both of my grandparents were actually really good people, and they lived in really affluent places. So one of my grandmas lived really close to me in a place called Albany, which was a very affluent city, and it allowed me to go to school there. And when I would be over in Albany and I would hang out with the kids over there, I saw that they had things much different than I did. And it was pretty interesting to me to see the difference between the lifestyles in a city like Oakland versus a place like Albany, which was way more affluent. And so I got to thinking to myself and got to noticing and analyzing things. And I saw what my friends' parents did. They all went to college. They all got good jobs, and they all lived pretty happily. Like for me, it was almost like the sunshine different when we were in Albany. Like kids, you know what I mean? There was no bars on the windows. Kids could leave their toys outside. Like it was just a completely different environment than the one that I grew up in Oakland. So I wanted that. And I feel like God stepped in and really helped my life out a lot, because a lot of the kids that I grew up with, their parents stayed doing the similar things that my parents were doing. But luckily, my parents were able to get themselves together and were able to get straight and to, veer away from drugs and things like that, and got their lives back on track. My mom ended up going to school and getting a decent job, and my dad got a pretty good job. And we moved from being poor into the middle class area. And I was able to go to school at Albany. I worked really hard. And one of the things, like, kind of to backtrack a little bit, to give you a little bit of insight into like what motivates me and what drives me. Even though I lived in a pretty bad neighborhood where I saw a lot of crazy things growing up, there was also a lot of good in my neighborhood. And there was, if you didn't have anything, the community kind of came together to help out, right? So like we didn't have a car, but that didn't stop us from getting other places, because the person who did have a car in our neighborhood would let us either borrow it or take us to wherever we had to go. People would look out for each other in our neighborhood. So I knew that there was good in our neighborhood, even though there was a lot of negativity going on at the same time, and a lot of poverty and things of that nature. So growing up, I always wanted to give back to my community. I always wanted to do something to help out kids from my community, especially this being that I got the blessing that I did to have people like my grandparents in my life, and also to have my parents get themselves together. You know what I mean? Like, especially when a lot of my friends, their parents didn't. So to make a long story short, I worked extremely hard. I didn't really know too much about life at that time. So I figured, hey, what can I do to make sure that I become successful and I'm able to give back? So I thought of, okay, there's like 3 major professions out there that I figured, okay, would be able to do that for me. And one was either being an engineer, a doctor, or a lawyer, right? And for me, out of all those professions, the top one was being a doctor. So that's the one I chose. I was like, oh, I could be a doctor, come back to my community, and really help out. So I ended up going to college. I ended up going to Rutgers University in New Jersey, and I studied molecular biology there. And I got my degree. And when I did everything that everyone ever told me to do, right? I worked really hard. I got great grades. I took my medical MCAT exam. But one thing that people didn't really explain to me, and I guess I was pretty naive and for not thinking ahead, was how much medical school actually costs and how much debt I was going to, incur by going to medical school. I was already $30,000 in debt from my undergraduate college, and some of the people, especially some of my mentors, were telling me that, hey, they're still paying off their medical school debts. And one of my mentors was a medical director at Kaiser, which is a really big hospital out here. And he was still paying off his medical school debts, and he was, in his 50s. So for me, I started to realize, I was like, you know what? If I were to join this profession, I would be kind of pigeonholed into doing this and not really be able to fulfill my full vision, which is to give back to my community, to open up programs and to do all these things. So it kind of got me stuck, right? So a lot of kids, I feel like that was like one of the biggest things back when I was going to college, is that most kids change their majors. They go into different things because they're so confused and don't really know what to do. I obviously didn't have that luxury because my parents weren't millionaires to be able to switch my major and go to college forever. You know what I mean? So at that point, I was kind of confused. I knew that I had to finish school. I knew I had to finish with this molecular biology degree, which I did do, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to be a doctor anymore. So pretty much what I did was I did what any kid would have did in my situation. I came home from school and I just decided to say, forget my future and party. So I had a lot of fun. I graduated, came home, had a lot of fun, partied, and I ended up getting a job at a hospital, which was to pacify me for the time and to be able to travel and to do certain things. But I really wasn't truly happy because I knew I wasn't fulfilling my potential or my dreams, the things that I wanted to fulfill and do. And I had gotten no closer into opening up my mentoring programs. I got no closer to helping out my community, even though I did what everybody told me that I should do. So I was contemplating going to medical school anyways, just to do it because I didn't have any idea of anything else that I could do. But at this point in my life where I started to feel out of control again, where I didn't have control over my life, I couldn't do exactly what I wanted to do, a friend approached me with the USANA business, which was pretty interesting, right? And at first, honestly, just to be 100% real with everybody, I gave it no second thought. I was like, a business selling things? I was like, because it was my friend, I took a look at it, and because it was my best friend, actually, I decided to do it with him, but I honestly just looked at it as a way to make some extra money. I was like, I can sell anything. You know, I'm a hard worker. I'm a hustler. I could sell things. So I just figured that that's what I was going to be doing to make a little bit of extra change, maybe go on a trip here or there and do different things. But, you know, my friend really took it seriously. And when he took it seriously, he's a smart guy. We were both actually come from very similar backgrounds, and we were actually working towards the same thing. He got his degree in molecular biology from University of San Diego, and he really took it seriously, and I consider him to be a very smart guy. So I decided, all right, let me really dive into this and take it a little bit more seriously. And when I did decide to take it more seriously, everything changed for me. I realized a lot of things that, I don't know how to put it. It's just a lot of things clicked to me. A lot of things really clicked to me. One was that I saw a way to give back to my community. I saw a way that I could become successful, and I saw a way that I can have control and command of my time. And so that's what I did. I decided to go to work for it. I worked at it, and we built a pretty strong, solid organization. And today, we actually did open up our mentoring program. I work at continuation schools. We have a program, it's called Be a Pioneer. So when we started the business, our team name was Team Pioneers. And some of the things that USANA taught us, which are business principles, we realized that those are the most important things that you can give to a community, especially to a community that's impoverished, is to teach them business skills so that they can start to create and become entrepreneurs themselves, whether it's in USANA or outside of USANA. An entrepreneurial spirit is what can take you from being impoverished to out of that and into, you know, greater heights, so to speak. So that's one of the things that we teach inside of our mentoring program. So now I have the time and the ability to open up mentoring programs and to work with people and to do things like that. Our business has grown and it's starting to grow again, and all these things are really coming together right now in my life. And for me, I feel like USANA has taught me so much, and it's grown my life so much that it's kind of hard to put into words to explain. I feel like health-wise, it's changed my life too. When I was growing up, like I told you guys, my parents struggled with drug addiction, so because of that, I had a really, really bad immune system. I mean, when I would get sick, I stay sick for a long time. I mean, you guys probably wouldn't even believe, like I can tell you stories about how long I stayed sick. One time I got sick, I think I was 18 years old, and I got sick on Halloween. And it was just a common cold, and I stayed sick until about April with the same cold. No relief, stayed sick. I got so used to being sick as a kid that I could operate and function being sick. Like that's just the way it was with me as far as my immune system went. And once I started taking these products and using the USANA multivitamins and using this USANA proflavanol and things of that nature, because I pretty much take all the products, like you wouldn't believe when I get sick now, if I get sick, right? Because it was definitely a common occurrence. I'd get sick every year, no matter what. And I'd stay sick for a very long time, no matter what. Like half the year I'd spend sick. Now, there was a point in my time when I started the business. I think it was from year 2 in my business till about year 5 or 6 that I wasn't sick at all. I didn't catch a cold, which is crazy. And now if I do catch a cold, I'm only sick for like 2 to 3 days. So the products to me have improved I know you're not supposed to say what it can cure and what it can't cure, but I know for a fact what it has done for me is it's improved my immune system a million times over. I trust it with my life. I trust it with my child's life. Like, I just had a child. He's a year old, and my partner was using the USANA prenatals. And I made my sister, when she got pregnant, use the USANA prenatals. Like, I swear by these vitamins. There's nothing that anybody can tell me about these vitamins. I know for a fact that they work because they've worked in my life. And I owe a part of my life to these vitamins, right? The improvement of my life. As far as, I know I'm kind of rambling now, but it's kind of hard talking to a screen, but I know I'm kind of rambling now, but I really do owe the USANA products everything. And I owe the USANA business everything too when it comes to my mentoring program, the opportunities that I have in my life, and, the timing and everything that I have in my life as well.
I love it, man. This is such a great story. I had no idea of your backstory, where you came from, and super congratulations on your new baby. Is it a boy or a girl?
It's a boy. It's a boy.
Oh, awesome. What's his name?
Right. Irving, actually. He's the 4th.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
So Irving McKnight the 4th.
Right.
So you must be Irving McKnight the 3rd. I did not know that.
Yes.
Oh, well, congratulations. What a blessing. And he's a USANA baby.
He's definitely a USANA baby, yes.
Oh, that's so cool. Wow. And I didn't know about your immune system challenges and the things that you grew up with that way too. I think that's a kind of a thing we don't talk as much about on these calls, but it's just like your health is your greatest wealth. And yes, this business definitely works, but also all the blessings that come along with it. It's just so exciting.
Yeah, it's when we do meet up at convention, it's so directed, everything that we talk about. We usually are talking more about the business. So, and me personally, I think when I came into the business, I was a very business oriented person. So I haven't really, I share that story with my customers all the time, but I don't really share it with it's important that I share it with the other associates and stuff. But it's 100% true, man. I feel like it's hard. I don't know how to put it into words, but it's given me a higher quality of life. The products definitely gave me a higher quality of life.
That's so cool. I agree 100%. I feel better at age 38 than when I was in my early 20s, and I had a weak immune system as well. I actually had a similar situation. I'd always get sinus infections, allergy problems, things like that.
Man.
I haven't actually been on, haven't had any major colds for about 6 years. Just taking it regularly. So, all right. Well, we got some questions in here. And so, by the way, if you're watching on Facebook Live, please type in your questions for Mr. McKnight, and I will ask them. I'm watching on Facebook Live here on my phone. But our first question comes from Randy Krebs in Salt Lake City. He says, what system or systems do you use to build your business? Do you do like one-on-ones? Do you do home events like mixers, health and freedoms? What's your kind of main strategy?
At one point in my business, the main strategy, we use a combination of both. I would say home events, like having presentations at home, is one of the big things that we like to do. And then also one-on-ones. And now, as of the last year or so, we've been sending out videos a lot. I don't know if you guys do that, but I like to send out a lot of videos. As a starter, and then I like to do the meetups afterwards, whether it's one-on-one or a presentation, group presentations.
Okay, so it sounds like you're doing everything: home events, videos, social media, just a combination of those things.
Combination of those things, yes.
Thank you. Next question comes from Rene R. Martinez Jr. in Jordanton, Texas. He says, what's the hardest obstacle you've had to overcome? And what would you say to people thinking of joining this USANA business/family?
The hardest obstacle. people to feel a little bit bad and feel a little bit negative about what they're doing and questioning whether or not they're doing the right thing. I remember going through that in the very beginning, but after that, it was watching other people go through that was probably the hardest thing. And knowing that, hey, I made it through, you can do it too. And then seeing them kind of get detoured from it is probably the hardest thing, is watching other people go through that process and knowing that they're, seeing them kind of slow down because of it is probably the hardest thing. And what was the second part of the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the second part was, what would you say to people thinking of joining this USANA family or USANA business?
That I would 100% join it. There's no real negatives to joining it. There's no real risks involved in joining it. You should for sure join it. There's health benefits, there's business benefits. You're going to learn so much regardless of how successful you actually become. You're going to learn so many principles and philosophies and business principles and health principles that can carry you in other areas. Like, I couldn't tell you how many other people have come to me and asked me to help market their, like, friends who've started businesses. Hey, can you come help me market my business? Can you help me get the word out about my business? Because of the things that I've learned inside of USANA, even if they didn't particularly agree with USANA or want to be a part of the USANA business, they recognize the skill set that you are able to acquire from learning these things. So it's 100% win-win situation with this USANA.
Yeah, there is a lot of other benefits that come along. That's so true. All right, I have a question. My question is, what advice do you have for the associates that are in their first year or first couple years that are just coming up and, going through the ups and downs of prospecting and having people say no or having people say yes and what to do, like all that? What's your advice to those people?
Man, one thing is to stay close to the people that you work with. Be a student, right? Keep learning through it, because everything is a skill, something that you can improve on, whether you're good at it now or not good at it. Doesn't really matter. All that matters is if you're willing to grow and understand that it's a process that you need to grow through. And second, and the last thing is to make it fun. Make it fun. Just have fun with it. Just because somebody says no is not the end of the world. Have fun with it, figure out ways to get better, and realize that, hey, those no's are going to come. Some of them are going to be harsh. I've had a lot of harsh no's in the very beginning of my business. And even today, you get a lot of harsh no's, but it's all right. You know what I mean? It's fun. It's part of the game. I like to think of things as sports. There's offense and defense. If there was no defense, right, you could just score really easily, and there's no point to that. That's why everybody's watching the World Cup and they watch basketball, is because there's a defense. And the same thing goes for our business. There's always going to be a defense. There's going to be people who are going to disagree with you, and people who are going to want to, not want to be on your side and be on your team. That's why you get paid the big bucks, is to, score on the defense sometimes. That's all.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you're going to score, sometimes you're not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. True. All right. Great. Thank you. Our next question comes from Jared Harris in Salt Lake City. He says, when do you know when it's appropriate to present USANA to someone?
When they agree to be presented to.
When they agree to be presented to.
Right.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah,
what's the invite you would use? I know it all is very situational, but what's a standard invite that you use?
Well, it would have to be with somebody that I built a rapport with already. Like, and unless it's like a cold market person, like let's say it's like somebody just recently I met this girl when I was buying some shoes, and she had some really good customer service skills. And she was really good at it. She sold, normally I never buy the insoles that go with shoes, but she really sold me on the insoles with the shoes, and I was really impressed by it. So I just opened up and asked her, hey, you have really good customer service skills. Have you ever thought about, and good sales skills, have you ever thought about, using the skills that you have and turning that into a profit, into a business type thing? And she's actually said, yeah, I'm going to school for business. And I said, oh, great. Is it okay if I get your contact information? I work with a business that's expanding in this area. and we're looking for people like you. And she
That's
said, yeah, of course. So she gave me her contact information, and I was like, yeah. So I would love to be able to send you some information on it. If I were able, if I send you a video that details more about what this entails, would you watch it? And she said, yeah. And then so we went through that whole process, and so she's watching a video well, probably not right now, but she's in the process of watching.
Did you just meet her today, or was this yesterday, or?
This was last week.
Last week, okay.
So I'm going to follow up with her tomorrow. Following up with her tomorrow.
That's a great strategy. I like what you said there. With you gave her a compliment, and then you said, I work with a business or a company that's expanding. Would you be open for me to get your contact info and contact you later? That's good stuff, man.
Right.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, that's one.
And what would you say to someone you have rapport with, like someone that you've already built rapport with, that it's not such a cold market situation?
Well, I had a friend who this was recently at the gym that I go to. There's this guy that me and him, we work out together, and we're always talking. And he actually expressed to me how he had just recently kind of got in trouble. He got a DUI. So he kind of lost his job for a while until he's able to, get his affairs back in order. And so he was talking about how he has a new job now, but it pays so much less than his old job. And I said, hey man, I know that I market online, and it's actually doing pretty well. I know that you've just kind of lost some income. Would you be interested in taking a look at what I do? Because I'm expanding right now. My business is expanding right now, and I'm looking for a few people. I'm only looking for about 2 or 3 people that I can train and, show how to do this. Would you be interested in taking a look at it? And he was like, actually, yeah, I would. And I was like, okay, cool, perfect. And so, but he's a good friend of mine. So I have his phone number already and all these things. So I just told him, yeah, I'm going to send you a video. And then after you watch this video, we're going to sit down and talk about it. So it's kind of more of, instead of asking him, I kind of told him more. Once he agreed, I just kind of told him what we were going to do with the next part of the process.
That's good. Well, I can tell that you're very good at tailoring your approach to their needs, right? Like this guy,
right?
He needed more income, so you kind of tailored that into whatever you said, and that's a great tip for everybody watching. When you have whatever your prospect really needs, is how you have to tailor it. Like when you have someone who has knee problems, then I would say, hey, you mentioned that you had knee problems. The company I work with actually has products that's really help people with their knees. If you want, I can get you some more information. So like sometimes I'll go health, sometimes I'll go business with those friends, and this is just really, really great stuff. So thank you, Irving. Our last question comes again from Rene R. Martinez Jr. He asks, what video do you use? Like, what's that first initial video presentation?
Nice. See, I don't know. I really like it. It's like this is USANA. So I have like 5 go-to videos that I go to. Okay. One is tour for the business. It's this is USANA, right? That's like one of my favorite ones to send to people because it gives a little bit of information, but it also gives a little bit of excitement, and people are talking. And there's a lot of my buddies on that video talking, so I love it, which is great. And then the second one is the Rise of the Entrepreneur video. If somebody's really serious and they're willing to sit down for 45 minutes and watch the Rise of the Entrepreneur video, it's really going to open their eyes up about the industry, and they're going to be really more positive about the industry. So I like to do those 2 videos, depending on the type of person. If the person's not super positive about it, then I'll just do This is USANA. But if it's a person that's really into business, then I'll do Rise of the Entrepreneur, then This is USANA. And then with the products, which I do a lot of, I send a lot of because I personally like it, and so it depends on the person. So if this person's like really into their health, I'll send them the USANA difference video, so they know like, okay, this company's different than other companies. They really take pride in what they do. And then I'll send them an individual video about either whatever product they're interested in. So like whether it's they have knee problems, like you said, I'll send them that short video about Procosa. if it's most people who are looking for a multivitamin, I'll send them the and it's really cool 16-minute one for the minute one, which gives you the brief overview, but it's really good too. So, and I mean, and for me, the product ones, they all, like, it never fails. People at least will try it. They'll at least try the product. They'll buy it the first time at least, and then once they start using it, it's golden.
Sweet. Well, Irving, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing the strategies that work great for you. And what's your last piece of advice to everybody watching or who's going to watch the replay?
Go to international convention, because the people who are speaking at international convention are a million times better than me. They are super successful, and their strategies always work. I've been going for the last, this is going to be my 8th or 9th convention, and I learn something new every single time. It's the best time. You're going to have fun. You're going to be educated, inspired, all the things that you need to run your business. I'd say it's a must go to thing. So convention would be my number one last thing to say to everyone.
Awesome. Well, convention is only like 6 weeks away.
Right. It? Oh, wow. Really?
Or maybe 7. So yeah, it's really coming up.
Oh man, I got to start making my flight arrangements.
Right. August 15th through the 18th, all of you. August 15th through the 18th.
Yes.
We usually fly on Tuesday, August 14th, and fly home on Sunday, August 19th. So mark your calendars. We will all be at convention, and it's going to be awesome. And that is the best advice for sure. So thank you again, Irving. We're going to unmute the lines, and everyone say thank you, Irving, and have an awesome day.
Thanks, Irving. Have an awesome day.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Irving.